within the Hizmet movement, there is a lack of wanting vengeance for the past or aggression in the present. It is a peaceful movement. And that becomes very important witness to our American society. That Hizmet stands out among the different religious organizations that I know. It seems to me that the image of Islam that is presented by spectrum. I'm Dr. Walter Wagner. I'm an adjunct professor at Moravian Theological Seminary in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and also an adjunct professor at the Lutheran Theological Seminary in Philadelphia. I am a Christian. I am a Christian clergy person, and I have been teaching in the area of Islamic studies for only 25 years. Otherwise, I have been teaching in history and biblical studies as well. I first encountered the Hizmet movement as part of an iftar dinner that was sponsored by an area dialogue center. And as a result of going to that dinner, I signed up for a trip to go to Turkey in 2008, in 2008. There were about 10 or 12 of us on the trip, and it was not only a very enlightening trip, but it was a wonderful trip to meet Turkish people as well as to eat Turkish food. In the course of that trip, we learned gradually about Hizmet and its meaning of service. Frankly, I was bewildered because there didn't seem to be much of a Western-style organization. It was a movement, a social service movement that sought to bring people together with a moral background and also with a lot of modern thinking concerning science and education. We had dinner with people who were dedicated and talented individuals. We received in that trip no commercials, no advertisements about Hizmet, but only a witness, a testimony as to what the movement stood for. And there were no strings attached. Hoca Efendi, I had the honor of having dinner with him. He does not speak English, and there were translators there, and Ali Yunal was also present, as well as some of the students were there. He is a deeply spiritual man. He is a man who has an optimistic view of human nature. I am a Lutheran, a Christian, who is sort of aware of the failures of human beings, of what in Christianity would be called sin. And I perceive in him the willingness to be patient, to be spiritually aware of God's forgiveness, and also not only forgiveness, but also how God is willing to work within this world to make a better world. As part of I have read most of what he has written in English so far. And as a result of giving an academic paper at Temple University on Hoca Efendi's views of this world, as well as al-akhirah, for the hereafter, I studied his understandings of this world and the hereafter, and did get a book out of it for that. It's my second book on Islam. The other one is on Quran. I have seen how steeped, how enmeshed he is in Quran, Hadith materials, and how this has influenced his whole life. I am a Christian, but I see in him a spirit that embraces so much of God's whole creation. It is an honor to meet him and also to keep meeting him in members of Hizmet. I think his most important contribution is in the willingness to see God at work throughout the world, regardless of religious commitments. He is a devout Muslim, no question about that. He stands well within the Islamic spectrum. He's right smack in the middle of it, neither too extreme on either side, but right smack in the middle. I think his major contribution has been to address the pressing problems of humanity, the problems of ignorance and poverty and division. One of my responsibilities or duties at Moravian Seminary is to work in interreligious dialogue. And we have, over the course of an academic year, 10 sessions of Muslim-Christian dialogue, 5 each semester, working with members of the Turkish community and all others who want to be part of this. And it is clear that education is the key, and from that will be built an understanding of justice and giving people opportunities so that the role of healing divisions to begin, as he has suggested, with forgiveness for what we have done to each other in the past, but with an awareness of God's will for us in the present. In the work that I do with students and with Hizmet, will be to stress healing the divisions, but I know it begins with education. It seems to me that the image of Islam that is presented by the number of students I have had, where I have been in homes of persons with dinner here in the United States as well as in Turkey, that I perceive a gentleness of spirit, a sincerity. They are, the persons that I have been with, perhaps are even so kind in their judgments. I certainly wouldn't be as kind as sometimes that they are. Very patient, very willing to learn, and to integrate what they know about Islam with the cultures around them, and as open to dialogue, to understandings, to helpfulness. The community in our area, through the Dialogue Center, sponsors iftar dinners for the homeless and for city workers, as well as for people who want to come to the interreligious side of iftar. I think it is a fine witness of what Islam really is. And it is inspirational to people like me to ask the question of how then can the best in my religious tradition also meet the best in the Islamic tradition. It seems to me that Hizmet stands out among the different religious organizations that I know of. I've been active for a long period of time. Chronology does have a good deal with that. I am older. It seems to me that there is, with Hizmet, certainly the understanding that there is, it's the Turkish word, I believe, something like hüşgörü, that to understand other persons where they are and to try to see the world through the ways that they do. I don't always perceive this. There is a determination on the part of persons in Hizmet to avoid political debate, argument. This is not always the case with other Islamic groups or Jewish groups or Christian groups that I go to. Very frequently in some of the groups that I know, there will immediately be political considerations and debates about the Middle East. I have found that the quickest way to have people from Hizmet not withdraw, but become less active, less determined to be engaged, will be to raise politics. Over and over again, it is, we are not a political movement. We are a social movement seeking to build up humanity. Within some other groups, I do get around to Christian congregations making presentations on Islam. And the usual questions that I will get are, why do they hate us? Why do they want to kill us? And I can say, who? Who is doing this to you? Not the people that I know. And to present Hoca Efendi's views, to present those positions, his quotations, that Islam, you cannot be a Muslim and be a terrorist, this insistence. And that is sincere within the Hizmet movement. There is a lack of wanting vengeance for the past or aggression in the present. It is a peaceful movement. And that becomes very important witness to our American society.
I have found that in all the people that I have met through the movement, individuals, men and women, who have who represent a very positive image of Islam as a religion of openness, of peace, of love, of understanding.
I don't think there is any doubt about Hoca Efendi's patriotism. He makes this very clear in one of his books, The Statue of Our Souls. He sees not that Turkey has to be a Muslim country or a totally secular country. He wants the best for that country and then for the world. I think that he is a gentle person who does not have a political agenda at all.